G'day, I'm Roland Hearn, and this is a walk in the garden. I'm trying to make my way through a little area that we have a few orchid plants established. They were here when we took the house over, so we aren't responsible for them, but we do love them. This past week has been relatively busy and stressful, and as a result, there are two implications for the walk in the garden this morning. First is it's a little bit later than I normally would do. I like to have them up early Friday morning, and hopefully that won't inconvenience people. Secondly, I am going to do the walk in the garden back in my own garden. I haven't traveled anywhere. But that's actually good, because I've been thinking about one of the videos that I wanted to do based on those principles that we talked about before, and I've got the perfect way of representing those principles right here in this in this garden. So come with me. I want to show you something. This is Boo Radley. Boo Radley is a border collie puppy. Look at him, he's just sitting perfectly, isn't he? Boo, 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 Boo. He's right now fixated on a bird that just landed. Stay. Boo is about 4 months old. He came to live with us about a month ago. He is a wonderful little puppy. We love him. Good boy, sit, good boy. Oh, he's already doing it, wasn't he? Good boy, stay. Boo, sit, stay. Oh, you're going to lie down. Well, we didn't ask for it, but you did do it. Good boy. He's such a good boy, and he's doing such a great job. Boo, however, does have a tendency to chew everything, and that creates a problem for us. And it's that issue that I'm going to address a little bit this morning. So thank you, Boo. Come and give me kisses. Come and give me kisses. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. So, what does Boo Radley have to do with the issue I want to address today? Well, the issue is safety. But in order to get to where I want to get to with Boo Radley, I need to back up a little bit. When Emmy and I were first married, we lived in a little unit, and we desperately wanted to have some pets. We are both massive animal lovers. I don't think we fully realized at that point in time how much of animal lovers we both are, and of course all of our kids are the same way. But we got a little puppy and a little kitten, and they grew up together, and they loved each other, and they just spent all their time together. And it was just one of those little moments in life where you think, or little periods in life where you think, this is just the way that it's supposed to be. So we've always said at some point in our life, we would like to do that again. Well, we've had dogs, we've had cats, always at different times, and they've never been particularly mad keen on each other. But about 3 or 4 months ago, we started talking and saying, do you remember how we had made that commitment? When the current set of animals has moved on, then maybe we could look at getting a dog and a kitten together. And we agreed that's what we do. But once that idea gets in, it starts to take hold, and the family, particularly the girls, started looking around for opportunities to make that a reality. Well, to cut a long story short, we, as I said, about a month ago, we ended up with Boo Radley, and last week we got this little guy. This is Atticus Finch, and if you recognize the theme, that is, of course, from To Kill a Mockingbird. Those names just fit together, and everybody loved the way that those names work. So we got a hold of Atticus Finch. Well, Boo Radley was 5.5 kilos when we got him. 2 weeks ago, he was measured at just over 7 kilos, and I'm pretty sure that he's right now between 8 and 9 kilos. He's growing fast. He's a border collie, so he loves to chase things, and he loves to chew things. And since we've been here, of course, we've had him here, we've recognized him chewing shoes and furniture and plants and even the chickens from time to time. And of course, he just chews on our older dog all the time. Well, we got Atticus Finch, and Atticus is, I don't know, grams, not kilograms. And she is a beautiful little Burmese kitten, and we just love her. The reason I'm filming inside is because I expected to find her and have her a part of this video, but she's sleeping somewhere and I just don't have time to wait until she comes out, which is a kind of little sad thing. But here's the issue with all of that. That means it becomes our responsibility to provide safety for Atticus, and of course for Boo Radley as they grow and develop, and maybe as they get to know each other over the next month or so, we can train Boo Radley not to chew on her, and that's the plan. But it's this issue of safety that I wanted to address today. Safety is a vital part of life, right? It's one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But there's a specific aspect to safety that I want to address today that fits in these 5 categories that I spoke of a couple of weeks ago, one of which is vulnerability. Safety, definitely, in terms of relationships, includes physical safety. If we're physically harming each other, we're not going to have any positive relationships. But there's a much more important part to the idea of safety as it relates to the aspect of love and worth. Vulnerability is the crucial piece of connecting heart to heart. It's the significant component to communicating worth to another person. Sometimes, if we're going to advance in relationships of love, we have to become vulnerable when it's not particularly safe to do so. And you can't always demand safety, so we, depending on the context and the factors involved in the relationship and where we're trying to get to it, we evaluate our vulnerability in relationship to those things. But the truth is, even in an unsafe relationship, if I want that relationship to move forward, I have to choose the courage to live in that space and to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable in a space where I might get hurt is incredibly courageous because it speaks to our deepest identity. However, as a person that wants to advance relationships and take the journey in the garden, I have a responsibility, and I'm using the personal pronoun, but I mean we have a responsibility to create safety for others. And again, as I said, not just physical safety, but identity safety. That means this: if I'm in relationship with you and I seek to move deeper into that relationship, which is what love does, then I must choose to create a safe space for your identity. So much of the world, and so often in relationships, we determine that it's our job to fix other people's identity so that it's much closer to ours, because that would make me safe. But that's not how love works. Vulnerability is my responsibility to the other. But in terms of my responsibility, I can't force them to be vulnerable. But in terms of creating the space for relationship advancement, for the walk in the garden, then I must desire identity safety for you. That is, I seek to understand who you are, the pieces that have gone to make up your sense of who you are and your sense of worth, and I do everything in my power to not challenge your sources of identity. All of us have to shift in our sources of identity, because we all have pieces of our identity that is not built in love and worth, it's built in our own struggle. But we move in the best and most effectively in the positive direction when we are in an environment that is loving and valuing, and safety is the key to that issue. So, as much as it lies within me, I must refuse to challenge the things that I know are identity markers for you, and create a space where you are safe to be that person in relationship to me. If change is required on your part, if change is required on my part, it will be as we journey together, we will together increasingly become like love, valuing one another. So that's how it works. So we hear lots of stuff in the media, and and our life is full of examples where we have either been a part of or witnessed being a part of somebody forcing somebody else to change their sense of identity. And it's always destructive. It's our responsibility to create safety for the other's identity. That's how we show them they are valuable. So this issue of safety becomes a preeminent part of the journey in the garden. To value one another's identity is to value one another's source of worth. Let me close with this. If you're in a relationship and you get a reaction from the other that is in some way negative, particularly if that reaction seems to be more intense than what the circumstances would require or what you intended to communicate, you are dealing with an issue of identity. So stop, listen, understand, and create safety. This is essential for the walk in the garden. We're not going to get there without it. So until next week, keep walking in your garden and stay safe.